Today, our topic is greenwashing. So what do you know about greenwashing?
Prior to half an hour ago, I didn't know anything. I thought about it, and generally speaking, when you hear a topic that's unfamiliar, you can usually deduce at least a close idea as to what it could mean. Mm-hmm. But I really hadn't any idea.
And just so you're out there listening, I absolutely set my own brother up to fail this week. I have given him exactly zero information other than the word greenwashing.
That's a perk of being in the family.
And I did it about an hour and a half to 2 hours ago. So that is not surprising because greenwashing is not necessarily a well-known term.
It's definitely a well-practiced thing, though.
It is, and the more you learn about it, the more you see it. You see it everywhere. Personally, it makes me cranky. The moment I see it, now that I'm trained to look for it, it's sometimes very difficult, especially walking through like a big box store. Because you see it, people use it as a way to look a little different on a shelf. And if you're trained at all, it just drives you bonkers. So greenwashing is the process of conveying a false impression or providing misleading information about how a company's product is environmentally sound.
Okay, so kind of like telling you all the good stuff without the negative side of it. Maybe they do that to kind of shift your view, misdirect you as to where they don't want you looking.
Kinda, yeah. And now I have my own version that anytime I've ever said. It's a company or an organization spending more money to convince you that their actions or products are sustainable than the amount that they actually would need to make them sustainable.
So you're telling me it's a PR stunt?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 it is. Anytime that you see greenwashing, it's an attempt to trick you into thinking they're better than they are, and the money they spent discussing it, doing case studies, changing their products' packaging, changing their paper supplies, and all these other things, they could have just done it correctly. But they did it to trick you. And that's what greenwashing really is when you think of it, it's a deception.
From a productivity perspective, it seems kind of backwards. It seems like someone would, raise their hand and say, you do know we're spending 20% more than we need to if we actually just fix the problem?
You would think, but then you'd have to be trained to fix the problem.
So is it a fear of change? Just kind of go with what you know?
I think that's almost a universal answer for any kind of thing, is that people are afraid of change. But yeah, they're used to doing it their way. They're losing market share. All the reports say that the market share will come back if they're seeing a little more green. So they start a marketing campaign instead of actually making the change.
So you're telling me this is the perfect place for my all-time favorite phrase, people fear what they don't understand.
I think that can be inserted into 60% of society.
Yeah, you will find the more we do this, I'm going to drop it every chance I can.
So when it comes to greenwashing, there's a lot of ways people attempt to greenwash. There's a lot of historical examples that are pretty well known. One of them you kind of brought up is the misdirection. We're trying to get you to look at, hey, the paper on this packaging is recyclable. It's in 4 layers of plastic and the item inside is also plastic. That does not make it eco-friendly. It just means that you made packaging that might have been recycled once and could be again.
So essentially, they sell you on the idea that it's made of recycled product, but they package it in a way that any benefit that could have been deduced from the recycled product is now gone.
Yeah.
Because it's got all this plastic over it, and like we talked about in previous episodes, plastics downgrade. So they have very, very few recyclable properties in them.
Well, I mean, you can, in a sense, recycle everything, but it might take so much more energy to recycle it, and so they don't. Most plastics are just burned or buried.